So for the people who aren't here, can watch this. So I posted your assignment today in your Google Classroom for 4th grade tech. And we are moving on to life science. So the last few weeks we've been thinking about energy and electricity. So now we're switching gears and thinking about interdependence in ecosystems. So what that means is how different things depend on each other, different living things depend on each other, and how living things sometimes depend on non-living things. So in this document, actually, let me go back one second. I want to show you something else. So this document, for some reason, it wouldn't let me assign you each a copy. So you're gonna have to make a copy of it. So when you go and it looks like this, you're gonna be able to click on the links and everything, but you might not be able to type because it's view only. So you'll have to do file and then make a copy to make your own. And then it'll say copy of interdependence, blah, blah, blah. And you can just say, like, you can just keep it the same, maybe put your first name or first name and initial there. So I would put Chloe M and then okay. And then it would make me my own copy. It's a little slow that I can type in, because when you're on view only, it doesn't let you type. So now I could type on this one. So just wanted to show you guys that real quick because I did just get an email about that, and I know it's a little different than how we've been doing it. So the first part you guys are going to be doing is watching BrainPop videos and taking the review quizzes. I know sometimes BrainPop there's like a review quiz or a graded quiz. I honestly don't think there's that much of a difference, but I just said to do the review quizzes, not the graded ones. So there's a BrainPop on ecosystems, land, biomes, and the food chain. In this food chain video, it's going to talk about producers and consumers, and also different biomes and ecosystems and other ones. That should take you about 15 minutes is sort of my thinking. I tried to kind of time this out so it wasn't taking you too long for inquiry. And then this is a mystery science. So this is the link to the videos. It's the student link, so you should be able to watch the mystery science. It's loading. So it's called Why Do You Have to Clean a Fish Tank But Not a Pond? And you're just doing the exploration part, so you'll just press play. And then when it gets to the hands-on activity, you can just stop because you don't have to do the hands-on activity, and it might be hard because you would need all these different materials and some other people to play this with. So it's not as independent as some activities. And in this video, it also talks about producers and consumers. So down here, it says, when you're done, answer these questions. What was an example of two things that depended on each other? What was an example of a producer? What was an example of a consumer? So you're going to answer those and type your answer below. So it could be like a fish or whatever happens in the video. Then there's a game here. It says, here's a game from BrainPop that teaches you about biomes and the role of producers and consumers and the role producers and consumers play within their ecosystem. Here's the link. So this game is, there's some reading involved, but I think it's cool because it does interact, like it is interactive. So I don't know if I want to show you the whole thing because it makes a lot of noise. So bear with me, expect some extra background noise from this game. So I would press play game and it will load. And then play. And so you're hearing, hopefully, maybe you're hearing all the splashing, and this is Professor Bio. We're gonna start. You're gonna start in the freshwater marsh. And this says, and usually the buzzing goes away after like a minute. In Crazy Web, you'll find other spots that are marked as consumer and producer. Drag the moving icons to these spots and figure out which species is which, producer or consumer. So then it says, click here to test. So you're really just following directions, a lot of following directions. So this is kind of testing your knowledge. But I think a willow tree is a producer, so I would drag it to producer. I think algae is a producer, so I would drag it to producer. And a dragonfly is a consumer, so I drag it to consumer. So that's how that works. Consumer refers to a species that eats other species for food. Okay. Producer refers to a species that either produces food for itself or is eaten by other species. And then you would just click to keep going. And this is a different task. So each card has a different task. Okay. So that's that game. I think you could probably play it for a really long time, but I just said play for 15 minutes. But if you want to play longer, obviously go for it. That's great. And then down here, I asked you 2 different reflection questions. So what was one biome or ecosystem you found interesting? Why? So that's going to be like from the videos. What would be like an example of an ecosystem you thought was interesting and why? Mostly from this first Brain Pop video. Then you're going to explain how living and non-living things depend on each other. And if you give an example, that would be really helpful. Okay, so I'm going to stop my share and I will take questions. I know it looks like a couple people commented in the chat. So how do you get there? It's in Google Classroom and it's linked under, here, let me show you again, or let me share my screen again. Okay, so this is your Google Classroom, right? So hopefully you guys all are able to get there. If you can't get there, please email me or Google chat me and I'll help you get there. And then it's the assignment at the top that says life science. So I would click that and it's this link right here. And remember, you have to make a copy of it to be able to type on it. So that's what I just showed you before, where you go file, make a copy, and then you can type on it. Let's see. Do you have to do it today? No, guys, as usual, you can do this on your own time. So you can do this today, this weekend, or anytime next week. So it's totally up to you and what works for your schedule and your family. Oh, hi, Xander. Yay. So do what works for you. And yeah, we're flexible, right? We're all kind of figuring out what works best for us in our routines. So no worries. Okay. Other questions? No? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording then. And I will, and then we can all say goodbye to each other.